Thanks for staying with us. So, the controversial activities of Hisbah Police is something that has generated quite a lot of controversy and mixed reactions amongst Nigerians. Part of the story that have dominated social media have been the issues around the mannequins, the haircut, destruction of alcoholic drinks, banning couples from meeting in public, and all the others. Nigerians have been reacting that many of these strict measures seem only to be for the poor and not the rich. And one of the spokespersons of Hisbah had actually responded saying that in Islam, it is wrong to speak to your elders or to criticize your elders in public. Your leaders in public. So what are your thoughts on this? Now, again, this is when it comes to religious issues, we're quite understand how sensitive it can be. So we're not here to criticize. We're here to have understanding. So please call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read these messages. So, as I said, we cannot judge culture, tradition, beliefs. That's not what we're here to do. But we must understand each other and know how we're different or what makes us different. And that's one of the reasons why we're bringing this conversation. So I was starting with Nima because somebody has just referenced Islam and saying that in Islam, it is wrong to speak to your leaders or to criticize your leaders in public. And I'd like you to just say, like, if that is true and if that's correct. Okay. And then before we now start discussing what our thoughts on how we've observed Hisbah's activities in recent times.
So I got this same topic when I wrote something concerning the NSAS. Okay. Some people took it up, went on my DM, went on my page, and were lecturing me. So I'm a graduate of Islamic law. I have combined honors. When I do something, I know what I'm doing. It's either we don't want to do democracy or we want to do democracy. In Islam, leadership is taken by knowledge, character, but we do elections here. In Islam, even the Saudi now, you don't see people achieving or getting to leadership by elections. They run monarchies in most of the countries. They have what they call a shura that appoints a person. His character is clean. They check him. He has to have knowledge before he gets into position. So they run a different system. But when we run democracy here, we run a different system, and we must abide by that system. I cannot remember any governor in Kano that was appointed by a shura. He was elected, and he's running under a constitution. So, of course, there must be people who can criticize whatever decisions they make. And so when you run under that defense, because in the olden days in England, we had where they said the queen can do no wrong. It's no longer the norm because they changed their system. Yeah. So when we change system, let's admit we are changing system. It's not like when we do one, you now go and find the bad people.
But there's Sharia in these states.
So Hisbah, yes, most northern states do Sharia. They have a code for it. If they use it only for their criminal system, they have a code. It is now their criminal law. What they did is, what their penal codes would do, they only amended it to increase what it covered. They didn't say, the Rasul Sallallahu that we are following said to someone at the time when they were carrying out the judgment of stealing on a continuous unrepentant thief. He said, if it was Fatima, my daughter, who was caught in this habit, I will cut off her hand. Which means that not because she's now royalty or you are now governor, you can do no wrong. We can't bring it and be mixing it up and confusing ourselves. Okay. Hisbah was a police to ensure morality, Abi. Right. Hey, there's immorality, no matter who it is.
Okay.
Enforce it.
Right. So we have double standards. Mariam, want to go?
Yes, because for me, when I also heard his response, that's for the representative of Hisbah, where he says that you cannot publicly criticize a leader. I wondered, if you could not publicly do it, but would that leader still get the punishment that is meted out to regular people?
How do you then set examples?
So that's my question, Abi. I do not set examples, but the question is, some people, we have heard of those who have stolen and they have their limbs cut off, where people have been asked to do some sort of moral class where they go for Islamic classes because they have shared pictures that are indecent. They are punished and they are made examples of. So if you don't publicly, let's just say agree, you don't publicly chastise them, but do you also privately punish them? Do they have their limbs cut off because they did what they stole for corruption? Do you do that? Even though we don't see it, can someone say, yes, this is what you do in private, do you punish them for some of the outfits you say that is not right, that other people are being punished for, do you now go there and meet them and punish them for the way they are dressed? Are those people that we've seen, those children of the rich and powerful, are they asked to go for all those Islamic classes and asked to change their outfits, or are they just allowed to go? I think that for many Nigerians, it just seems clear that if you do not have the power and if you do not have the wealth, some of these religious things, religious beliefs, religious punishments especially, will be meted out to you. You are supposed to be the example for people who, the scapegoats, that's it. You are the scapegoats for things like this.
Yes, so for me, I want to go back to the criticisms that Hisbah has had over the years, which is that it seems to be favorable to just the rich and punishes just the poor. And the response of the spokesperson somehow buttressed that fact, which is that, you do not criticize a leader in public. And I'm wondering, does that mean that every wealthy person in that religion is a leader? So what makes you a leader? I was thinking that, leaders are those who are the helm of affairs, either in the mosque or the government and all of that. Does that now once you're wealthy, does that give you that leadership criteria that you can no longer be criticized in public? And he also said that they handle the cases based on one-on-one approach. That, for me, is a separation. So you have a law which you now handle one, and also we all commit the same offense here, and they say, okay, no, Morayo is different from us. Let's handle Morayo's own case privately. Let's handle Nima's case publicly and all that. So that also still buttresses the fact of the ordinary people who say that, come on, it seems like this religion is just for poor people. So once you are rich, you are above that law, you are above that religion. I think some of the things that we do, we need to start really paying attention, because the world is changing. People are beginning to ask intelligent questions, and not just questions. They are seeing your precedents. They are following up on what you're doing. Tomorrow, they will use it against you. So if you want to have a law, let your law be seen to be just. Yes. Let it be seen to be fair, equity. That is what we're talking about, especially in religion.
It's even transparency that the religion promotes so loudly. I remember this. I'm going to be using a lot of Quranic quotations.
Go ahead.
The Prophet ﷺ was walking once with his young wife, and someone passed by them. He had no business explaining himself to the person. But he turned back and said, "This is Aisha." And he said to I think Aisha was Zainab. And then he said, "Speak so that the person hears you." So that person does not walk and say, I saw him with somebody. That means that if you're in a leadership position, you must live a very transparent life. Your standards are the highest of it. Before you can now say that they don't question leaders. It's not where we are now. And then you didn't get...
Let me take this call from Dennis. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning, ma.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Sorry for calling today. I've tried calling yesterday concerning the gay issue. I'm in the same situation. That's why I'm calling you today. I don't know how to reach you offline, because I actually got married 2017. I met my husband in church. I never knew what he said. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I met him in church. I never knew he was a gay. So 3 years after our marriage, I find out he's a gay. And I confronted him at first. And he promised to change. I never knew he was just playing me around. So after like 2 weeks, I asked him again. He said we're going to see a pastor or a counselor. And he said if I ever mention that thing in this house again, that he will deal with me. So that's how I've been battling with him over a year now. I called so many counselors. The only thing they are telling me is I have to take my decision. And I already have 2 kids. Now, I have involved his family, my family. I left the house 2 weeks ago, my brother's place. At Murayo, I got there. They offered me to come back again. Not to go and work on it. But I'm not ready to work now.
Honestly, our heart breaks, Janet. I mean, I don't know what to say at this point, but I can't say I understand what you're feeling, but the truth is that we know that a lot of people are going through exactly what you're going through. And that's why we started the conversation yesterday, and we're going to continue it. So thank you for sharing your story with us. We appreciate you calling, and we'll definitely try to reach out to you when we do expatiate on this story. As I said, for those who didn't watch the story yesterday, we're talking about people who are finding out in marriage that their spouses are either homosexuals or lesbians, and that's a problem. So it's a conversation we're going to continue having, but not today. Thank you very much, Zenith, again, for sharing your story.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.